Talk about digital medicine. Human heart cells on a chip could replace animal testing. From Raleigh, cardiologist, Dr. Kevin Campbell. Doctor, you've been on the show before, and we appreciate your expertise. You've got to explain this to me. A silicon chip, and you grow a human heart cell on it or in it?
One more.
Explain.
So what we do is in the laboratory, we take stem cells, which are cells that had the potential to become any type of organ tissue, and we tell them, genetically signal them to become a heart muscle cell. Then that cell is inserted into the silicon chip, and then we're allowed to actually test drugs on that particular heart muscle cell. That muscle cell actually beats at 50 to 70 beats a minute, and we can actually see how certain drugs may affect the heart.
Hold on a second. The cell that you put into the silicon actually beats like a heart. Does it?
It does. One of the things that are particular to heart muscle cells is they have what we call automaticity, or the ability to depolarize and contract and beat just like a heart. And when your heart beats, it's all these cells that are beating coordinated together. But all of these tissue types have the ability to beat. So it's very fascinating work.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating. So you can bypass the traditional testing method because you can put a tiny, tiny bit of a particular drug, for example, into that chip and see how the heart and muscle reacts. Have I got it right?
That's exactly right. One of the most expensive parts of drug development, which is almost $5 billion to take a drug from bench to market, is the testing phase. And animal testing is very expensive because you have to train these animals to perform tasks in certain situations. And if they die during the testing, then you're at square one. This could replace that and also be better for us because we're different than animals biologically.
How soon does this come to market?
You know, I think we're talking several years here because this is really the first paper that was published in the journal Nature. It's, I think, very, very promising. You can give drugs that lower heart rate to this particular chip, and the heart rate goes down. You give drugs that increase heart rate, the heart rate goes up. So I think it's a very viable market model, but it's got a lot of work left to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're not looking to a particular company that might do well out of this or a particular university. That's not the objective here. We like to bring our viewers gee whiz science, and I think this fits the category. You're excited by this?
I very much am. You know, I think that medicine in the future is all about genomics. And if we have a stem cell, heart muscle cell that's grown from my body being tested with a particular drug, we can cater therapy to me or to you based on your genetics. So I think this is the future of medicine. Genomics is where it's at.
Well, you've got to deal with one other thing for me here. I'm told there's a new study. It says that sitting increases your chances of heart disease. Okay, you're a cardiologist. Set us straight, please.
Well, I think you and I should probably stand up to do this segment. No, I'm kidding. There is a study that shows in 2,000 people in Dallas that for every hour they spent sitting, they had a 14% increase in something called coronary artery calcifications on CT scan. That is a surrogate marker for people who are likely to develop heart disease. So we have to take the study with a grain of salt. However,
okay.
I do think that this study shows us that when we sit, obesity becomes a problem because we eat and we don't move. And obesity causes $150 billion worth of healthcare expenditures in the U.S. alone every year.
Okay, doctor, I hear you. I'll get up and walk around, I promise. Dr. Campbell, paging Dr. Campbell. Come on in. Thanks very much indeed, sir. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks.
How about that?